Welcome back to more Top Scares with Mr. Biggs. I have 3 stories from Maine. I hope you enjoy them as much as I did.
Once a year, on the anniversary of a tragic accident that happened on the Saco River, locals say that they can hear strange noises and see unexplained occurrences along the riverbank. Some people believe that the spirits of those who lost their lives in the accident haunt the area. One summer, a family of 3 decided to spend their vacation in a cabin near the Saco River. On their first night there, they heard strange noises coming from outside. They thought it might just be some wild animals or the wind, so they didn't pay much attention to it. The next day, they decided to go fishing on the river. As they were enjoying the calm waters and beautiful scenery, they noticed a little girl in a white dress playing by the riverbank. The girl seemed to be having fun, but when they called out to her, she didn't respond. They thought she might have been lost, so they tried to approach her. But as they got closer, she suddenly disappeared into thin air. The family was confused and scared, but they tried to brush it off as their imagination. However, as the days went on, they started to hear more strange noises and see more unexplained occurrences. They saw shadows moving in the trees, heard footsteps following them, and even felt cold spots in the air. One night, they decided to investigate the strange occurrences. They walked along the riverbank, following the noise of a child's laughter. As they approached a bend in the river, they saw the ghostly figure of a little girl in a white dress sitting by the water's edge. The family was terrified, but they slowly approached the girl. As they got closer, they noticed that the girl's dress was soaked as if she had been in the water. They realized that this was the spirit of a little girl who had drowned in the river years ago. The family tried to comfort the girl's spirit, telling her that she was not alone and that they were there to help her. The girl's spirit seemed to calm down and eventually disappeared into the night. From that day on, the family never experienced any strange occurrences again. They believe that they helped the little girl's spirit find peace and move on from the Saco River. And every year, on the anniversary of the tragic accident, they return to the river to pay their respects and remember the spirits of those who lost their lives there. In a small town on the coast of Maine, there stood an old schoolhouse. The Harpswell Island Schoolhouse was a charming and historic building, beloved by locals and visitors alike. But as the years passed, rumors began to circulate about the schoolhouse being haunted. According to local legends, the schoolhouse was haunted by the ghost of a former teacher who died in a tragic accident. The teacher was responsible for the care of a group of young children who were attending the school. One day, while the teacher was working in the attic, a fire broke out in the building. The teacher was unable to escape, and she perished in the flames, along with several of the children. Despite the rumors, the schoolhouse remained a popular tourist attraction, and many visitors came to see the historic building and to hear the stories of the haunting. But one day, a group of students from a nearby high school decided to take things a step further. They wanted to investigate the haunted schoolhouse and find out if the rumors were true. The group of students arrived at the schoolhouse just after sunset. They parked their cars on the side of the road and made their way through the overgrown grass and weeds to the front door of the schoolhouse. The door was locked, but one of the students had come prepared with a set of lockpicks. It didn't take long for him to open the door, and the group made their way inside. The inside of the schoolhouse was dark and musty, with cobwebs clinging to the corners of the room. The group fumbled for their flashlights and began to explore the building. They climbed the stairs to the second floor and made their way to the attic, the site of the tragic fire. As they stepped into the attic, they were met with an eerie silence. But then they heard a strange noise. It sounded like a faint whisper coming from somewhere in the darkness. The group froze, unsure of what to do. Suddenly, the silence was shattered by a loud bang. The group jumped in fright and spun around, their flashlights illuminating the room. They saw that one of the windows had been slammed shut, as if by an unseen force. The students decided to leave the schoolhouse and make their way back to their cars. But as they descended the stairs, they heard footsteps behind them. They turned around, but no one was there. The group was now thoroughly spooked, and they ran as fast as they could back to their cars. As they drove away from the schoolhouse, they could feel a chill running down their spines. They had encountered something that they couldn't explain. The group of students never went back to the Harpswell Island schoolhouse again, but the rumors of the haunting continued to circulate, and the old schoolhouse remained a popular subject for ghost hunters and paranormal enthusiasts. And who knows, maybe the ghost of the former teacher is still wandering the halls of the schoolhouse, seeking the children she was responsible for so long ago. Once a great military leader, Joshua Chamberlain became the stuff of legends during the Civil War. As a commanding officer in the Union Army, he was known for his bravery and tactical genius. He was instrumental in winning the Battle of Gettysburg, and his name became synonymous with heroism. But when Chamberlain returned home after the war, he found himself struggling to adjust to civilian life. He was haunted by the memories of the war and struggled to find a sense of purpose. Despite his many accomplishments, he couldn't escape the ghosts of his past. One day, Chamberlain was walking through the streets of his hometown, lost in thought. Suddenly, he saw a figure in the distance, walking towards him. As the figure approached, Chamberlain realized that it was his own ghost. At first, he was terrified, but as the ghost spoke to him, he realized that it was a message from the beyond. The ghost told him that he had been sent to help Chamberlain find peace and closure. The ghost promised to guide him through his fears and help him come to terms with his past. Over the next few days, the ghost of Joshua Chamberlain followed the living Chamberlain wherever he went. The ghost would appear to him at night, in his dreams, and even during the day. At first, Chamberlain was hesitant to engage with the ghost, but eventually he began to listen to its words of wisdom. The ghost led Chamberlain to places from his past, showing him moments of courage and triumph on the battlefield. But it also showed him the pain and suffering that he had endured, reminding him of the sacrifices that he and his fellow soldiers had made. As time went on, Chamberlain found that he was slowly coming to terms with his past. He was able to find peace and acceptance, and the ghost of Joshua Chamberlain slowly faded away, leaving him with a newfound sense of purpose. Years later, Chamberlain would look back on his encounter with his ghostly doppelganger as a turning point in his life. He would always be grateful for the guidance that the ghost had given him and the peace that he had found. And to this day, people say that they can sometimes see the ghost of Joshua Chamberlain walking the streets of his hometown, still guiding others through their own struggles and fears.
Thanks for staying till the end. Check out my next video for more scary stories. Don't forget to like and subscribe.